I'm Suman Bajaj Kalra. I've been a media professional for 3 decades. I'm primarily a television professional, but I would not have been one if I did not have love for writing. Writing helped me to spread my wings to radio and print with equal ease. That love just intensified when I saw its magical effect across media, be it radio, television, films, and the internet. Today we will try and understand the nuances of professional letter writing. There are different genres of writing for different readers, purposes, and occasions. One fact that remains constant and valid is that writing is the most effective, accurate, and expressive form of communication. It is available for ready reference whenever the need arises. It is an essential tool for the mass media professionals, as all medias, again radio, television, print, and internet, require the foundation of writing. Writing is a thoughtful expression over which we deliberate in order to make it appropriate, focused, expressive, well structured, and meaningful to the reader. Psychologically, we are more concerned about the content and language of writing compared to when we speak. We are aware that in all likelihood, the reader would read it at leisure, with attention and a sense of purpose. We are equally aware that the imprint on paper cannot be altered or disowned by the writer. Hence, it is not surprising that a written document assumes importance in the eyes of the law. It is due to this significance that our effort is to write as accurately, appropriately, and clearly as possible, so that there is no scope for misinterpretation. This attention to detailing and language is even more so when we write business letters or technical matters.
I think as a beginner, the most important factor is that you tend to write a lot. And the most important thing is to cut down what important things are there to mention, what is not. So you always have to be very precise, concise, to the point, just mention important things and the kind of style you're writing. So you have to keep experimenting and learning new things.
Business and technical writing deals with information and issues that concern a large number of people who are often of varied cultural and educational backgrounds. Their mindsets could be different, their aptitudes could be different. Since the contents of such writings have wide-ranging effects, it is crucial that such writings do not have any scope for ambiguity. It is equally important that the reader is able to easily and instantly understand the contents of these letters. Both these fields require writing briefly, to the point, and in appropriate language, without emotion or probability factor in it. That is why some norms have been created for writing of this genre. These norms are understood and followed across cultures with none or very minor changes which do not affect the meaning of the written piece. These norms help to conduct business smoothly and share technical knowledge with ease across the world. It is a fundamental requirement of the globalized world we live in today. The fact that the internet portals function as our virtual information centers also makes it imperative that we follow these norms. Business letters are written messages to a person or group from a professional organization. These letters are formal in nature. However, the modern style of writing is to make the letters somewhat personalized and friendly with a view to establishing good public relations. A business letter can address anyone, be it clients, customers, sellers and buyers, management, service providers, agencies, exporters, suppliers and other business personnel or organizations. It is important to keep in mind that a business letter is an official record of your viewpoint or a commitment to the organization. This letter is an accessible record. It is a legal document between the two concerned parties, the addresser and the addressee. It is necessary that all the information contained in the letter is well thought out and legitimate.
Normal and professional writing, they are quite different in the sense that personal writing gives you more personal space. to experiment. Whereas in business writing or professional writing, you have a limited space and you can't experiment much. You have to be precise, you have to be concise, you have to fulfill the needs of the reader or the person for whom you're going to write.
Concise and clear. The letter should not contain details which can be deleted without affecting the crucial message or information. The language should be very clear and easily understandable. They should be brief and to the point. A brief letter has far more focus and instant impact compared to a long drawn letter. If there are many points to be conveyed, marking them with bullets or numbers draws attention. Short and simple sentences should be used. Short and simple sentences make for faster and easier reading. Ornamental language loses focus. Prioritize your points. Always start with the most important point first and go down in order of decreasing importance. It helps to draw attention to what is more important and crucial. Persuasive and usable. Business letters are persuasive in character, whether they talk about policy, strategy, deals, marketing or promotional activity, etc. Powerful persuasion is based on clear thinking and effective information. Formal and professional. In order to have the desired impact on the reader, the letters must appear logical and rational in their arguments rather than emotional.
If you're writing a business letter, then you don't have to be informal, you have to be formal, you have to use don't use passive words or passive verbs, you have to be active, you have to be be concise and precise, and you have to write less, do more with less things, with less writing. So all these things are important and you have to be strategic and be organized in your writing.
Define the aim and function of the letter. Present facts lucidly. Know the recipient of the letter. Make a draft or a sample copy before you finalize. Maintain neat physical appearance for the letter. Be clear in your mind about the desired effect or outcome of the letter. Clearly establish what you want to achieve. For example, the aim could be to acquaint the employees about the policy of the company, or to win back a dissatisfied customer, to reprimand an employee, to solicit business, to invite co-professionals for a business conference, etc. Whatever the goal, state it clearly at the outset. Make sure you have the relevant, accurate facts available, as for example, dates of talks, meetings, reference numbers of previous correspondence, product details and invoices, etc. These details could sometimes form legal documents in case of conflict of interest, as in the case of a late payment of loan installment, etc. Try to put yourself in that position of the recipient and anticipate his or her requirements for the information. Read it from the point of view of the reader, of the receiver. Is the letter clear or is it likely to be misinterpreted? Understand the reader's identity, orientation and mindset. Use simple language. If you know the recipient, use a personal touch for the desired response. Having established your aims and collected the relevant facts useful to the recipient, write down the main points of your letter. This helps to stay focused and prioritize them in order of importance. The first impression is formed by the envelope's appearance. A properly addressed envelope with the receiver's and sender's names and addresses printed neatly looks professional. It is wise to make sure the envelope matches the size of the paper. Most commonly used size is 8.5 by 11 inches, which is called A4 size.
It is important to be formal while writing a business letter because you're writing to somebody who you're not very intimately familiar with. It's not a relative or a friend. So being formal helps because it shows a level of politeness, and also it is easier to convey your message through it because it shows that you mean business and you're here to get your job done.
One has to be formal while writing a business letter because you have to put your point across to the reader in a very precise and formal manner, because if you write in your own personal style, it might not convey the right message, and you have to be really accurate in the kind of words you're using, the kind of style you are using. So all these matter a lot, and that conveys a sense of professionalism, and you show a kind of deference and respect to the person you're writing to.
The following elements constitute formal layout: letterhead with name, address, date, reference; salutation, which is formal address; subject matter, communication or the content of the letter; signature with name; enclosures; this includes the sending company's name, address, telephone number, fax number, email address and web address if any. Always include the recipient's name, address and postal code. Add job title if appropriate. Double check that you have the correct spelling of the recipient's name. Always date your letters. Months must be spelled fully and not in abbreviations. If there are any previous references, they must be mentioned. Modern word processors make it easy to maintain and access the record. How do you address the recipient depends on the status and the writer's relationship to the recipient. The modern trend is a certain degree of personalization rather than mere sir or madam, as it helps to build healthy business relations. It is acceptable to address the recipient by their name. The subject matter line placed at the top of the letter helps the recipient in understanding the objective instantly without having to look for it in the body of the letter. It should be placed one line below the greeting. A letter consists of a number of paragraphs, each paragraph dealing with only one point. Putting too many points together confuses the reader. You may or may not adopt the style of indenting each first line of the paragraph. It depends on the personal choice. Signature gives legitimacy and credibility to the letter. It should be followed by a typed version of the name and the job title underneath. If there are any papers or materials along with the letter, such enclosures must be mentioned 2 lines below the signatures and name. It is very important to revise the letter before dispatch. Once the final version of the letter is ready, it is important to give it a final check of content, spellings and punctuations.
First of all, writing for business requires the writer to be thoroughly knowledgeable with the subject he's writing on. He should have a fair knowledge of the business field. And secondly, since business writing is different from creative writing, he should keep the language simple. And also what is important is that there are a lot of jargons and technical terms involved with business writing. So he should have the capacity to simplify them for the readers who are reading the articles.
It comes under the field of information, distribution and management. Technical writing is a communication to convey information to a particular audience for a particular purpose in an easily understandable manner. It is often exposition about scientific subjects or technical subjects associated with sciences. This genre of writing emerged from the world wars due to the need for technology-based documentation in the military, manufacturing, electronics and aerospace industries.
Technical writing, in its conventional definition, is about writing instructions for using a technology or a product. Technical writing is the process of conveying complex technical information in a way that makes it easy for people to use that information. For example, if you are working with your photographs and you want to merge two photographs using your computer, you will probably look up the online help or the manual of say Adobe Photoshop and then understand how that feature works. These online manuals or help systems are written by technical writers. So in a way, technical writers help you use the information about a product or technology or a concept. You can think of technical writers as a bridge between the organization or the product and the users.
Yes, I would say partly, like not very well, but yes, in my college I got to know about these content writers. They would have advertisements in our college, so we would go through them, and I personally also I did a bit of business writing where we had to write letters for organizations where they need sponsors. So in that sense I got an exposure for business writing.
As a school student, I will say I was not aware of it, but as during my college days and now during my student days in Jamia, I have been exposed to lots of new forms of writing like content writing or different kinds of journalistic writing like business writing, which involves you to write articles or stories which are business related. So there is great prospect in this field, and I feel that that one can obviously make a career out of it.
I think the best way would be to expose the students to business writing by inviting people who are into this field to colleges and let them give a orientation or a kind of seminar where they can, you know, get to know about what actually business writing is and how they can, you know, get into it. And so seminars or maybe advertisements in colleges, so all these can help in inviting students to participate.
Basically, by interaction with people who are involved in it, and I think in order to create greater awareness of this field and the prospects, students can have programs organized by their institution or by the faculty which tells them about this, and I think that is the best way to know about it, because people who come from different backgrounds may not be knowing about this. So I think it's the prerogative of the institution to bring them in touch with this new field of writing.
Technical writing translates complex technical concepts and instructions into simpler language so that the users can perform a specific task in a specific way. To present appropriate information, writers must understand the audience and their goals. Audience analysis is a key factor for all technical writing.
The first skill that a technical writer should have is the ability to communicate effectively, to write clearly and crisply, and to be able to communicate complex technological concepts in a simple, easy to understand language. A related skill, of course, is to understand the technology or the domain in which they are working so that they are able to effectively communicate about that technology. A technical writer who can write effectively and who understands the technology can indeed become a very valuable professional. Beyond these basic skills, what distinguishes a good technical writer or manager is the ability to align with the business requirements and to have the passion and vision to contribute to the business. Because technical writers deal in information, they are in a very good position to use that information to bring business benefits. As a very small but concrete example, technical writers can create videos of the technical features and concepts which the sales team can then use to showcase the product effectively. the good technical writer is always on the lookout of opportunities to contribute to the business, going beyond the defined job role, and brings his or her skills to the table in a way that benefits the organization.
Good technical writing can be described as the delivery of technical information to readers or listeners or viewers in a manner that is adapted to their needs, level of understanding and background. In order to write effectively, the writer needs to keep 4 important factors in mind. Is the reader a common man with no technical knowledge, or is the reader an educated professional but ignorant about the topic written about? What is the source of information gathering? Is it an expert, books, or documentation? How authentic, reliable and comprehensible is the source? Is it a paper? Is it a part of a textbook? Or is it for seminar or a web content? Secondly, is the purpose to inform, persuade or just simplify the information? The information must have a logical progression and connection. The information must be rationally explained so that the reader understands it well. The field of technical writing is constantly gaining importance due to the rapid technological advancement. Companies need the help of a technical writer or technical communication professional in order to translate or explain the technical usage of their products in simple language. They want that even a common man should be able to figure out the advantages or the operation of their products or services. Typically, a technical writer could be required to write how to use manuals, project reports, online help files, instructions and installation guides, make brochures with graphic presentations for industries like IT, consumer goods, medical journals, etc. Now, let us look at the qualities of a technical writer. Technical writer needs to have the right educational background and aptitude to be able to understand the product and the technical jargon. The writer must also be abreast of the technological advancements in the field he is writing about. Research and information gathering is crucial to technical writing. The writer must have access to the right and credible sources of information to add to or simplify information. Technical jargon is often beyond comprehension of the common man. The writer must have sufficient language skills to be able to find simple but accurate substitutes for difficult technical words. The basis of science and technology is reasoning and logic. The technical writer must be able to write persuasively by applying cause and effect connection and analysis to be able to convince the reader.
The objective of a technical writer is to ensure that there is enough information available for the users to use the technology or the product effectively and productively. What happens is that during the development of a technology or a product, the focus is on design. For example, the engineers will create design specifications and the technical processes required to develop the product or the technology. However, when the product goes to the users, the focus will be on using the product, and that focus is what technical writers bring. They ensure that there is enough information available for users to be able to use the products. The company benefits because the information provided by technical writers is what brings the technology or the product close to the user to enable them to make full use of all the features or the concepts that are related to the technology or the product. What happens is that when a product or technology is being designed internally, the focus is on design, how the product should be designed and created rather than on how it should be used. But when the user use that product, they want the focus on how to use it. So this is the gap that technical writers fill to change the focus from a design centric information to a user or usability centric information. And this is a very important and crucial part that technical writers play in being the knowledge ambassadors of their company, spreading the knowledge about the tool in a way that brings users close to the technology or the product. Now, technical writers also have another role to play in this expanding world, and that is to be the catalyst for a community based information and help system. As we know that today we are into the phase of social networking, of Web 2.0 and so on, and we are now going to into a world where a broad community will create content, where a broad community of users will create information, and the technical writers can be the goodwill ambassadors as well as the proactive agents. As a profession, technical writing offers excellent career opportunities. As the complexity of technology grows, there is an increasing demand for writers who can explain that technology in simple usable terms and help grow the business. Especially in India, the opportunities are increasing phenomenally. As the technology work shifts to India, there is a growing recognition of the need for technical writers in the organizations to be able to help people use the technology through various information products.
Technical writing requires precision and brevity, allowing no scope for probables. Hence, the rational and logical aspects of the subject are of utmost importance. The writer must reread and rewrite or revise the writing as often as required until the subject emerges clearly and in sharp focus. It is a good idea to test the final draft on a person who represents the readership he is writing for. This ensures the comprehensibility and utility of the document. Another technique is to read aloud to oneself. Our ear is trained to pick mistakes instantly. This helps to arrive at the final draft, which fulfills all the objectives of writing it sets out to achieve. Any errors in technical writing can lead to financial damages and loss of prestige to the company. On the other hand, good technical writing can enhance the image and the business. That's all for today, but do remember that technical writing is an ever-growing field because technology surrounds us all around. Hope you liked this lecture and found it useful. All the best and goodbye.